Hello everyone and welcome to PSGL Brazil, the penultimate round of the championship. Yes, penultimate round. It feels a bit crazy to be thinking and saying that even, that the season is almost done. But we are here in Q1 Brazil, and as always we're looking to maximize our first lap here in qualifying to try and get through by only using one set of the soft compound tyres, so we have more availability during the later parts of Q2 and heading into Q3. Really difficult track to nail, and something that I was really having to focus on was the braking bias on this track as well. I like to run quite high braking bias. I like to trail brake quite a lot into the apex, but on this track, on this game, with how you have to set up the car, is really focused around a super low braking bias to try and flick the rear around the apexes rather than just try to load the front axle gradually. And that's more my driving style, is like loading the front axle in a more gradual way. But anyway, you're going to see it during this video. Quite a lot of understeer in the car, and definitely something I want to improve going forward to adjust the setup more to my driving style. But here, our first lap, provisionally we go to P2, but that does translate all the way down, in fact, to P9 by the time everyone else has done their lap. So we decided to go back out on track and go for one more run to try and secure our place in Q2. Of course, gonna need to improve from P9 now P10. In fact, it's a very difficult place to get through to Q2 if you don't improve your lap. So through turn 2 into turn 3, easily flat out, just try to hug the curb on the inside to minimize the distance around the corner. Ending sector 1, we're actually down on our split as we come across now into turn 4. Let the car rotate. That was pretty successful through there. Could have used a bit more road on the exit though. And now heading into double right-hander, easily flat out, rising up over the crest of the hill, and now hitting the brake down to third gear. And you can see the front axle is just not biting, like I talked about a minute or two ago. Just struggling to get that front in to the corner because of the rear locking, and just feeling quite sensitive with the rear, so having to trail brake a lot in the front axle to try and just generate a bit of front bite, a bit of front rotation now into the final corner of the lap. And we are not improving on our lap time. We're not going to get a faster lap here in Q1, but we are still P13, so there is a chance, even if we're not going to improve. What can we do? Are we going to be through? Are we going to make it into Q2? And we just about do. We just about do. We sneak through in P15. Our first run in Q2 is, of course, with the worn compound tyres, what we used in Q1. We was able to go provisionally P4 with that. So now our first set of new tyres here in Q2, sneaking through turn 3 again, minimizing the distance, opening up DRS. Heading into the end of sector 1, marginally improving our delta time, purple in sector 1 in fact, and now heading into sector 2 on the exit, flat out for the left hander, now heading in to the double right hander. So much just high-speed grip in this game, easily flat out, hitting the brake again into the middle sector, locking up the front tyre just a little bit, and now into the left-hander again, just waiting for that front axle to pick up. So much understeer, and now down into third gear. Once again, the story of this track for me is just waiting for that front axle to generate enough friction to bite, rotate, grip, and go into the final apex. And now we are just about going to be over a tenth up on our worn tyre run. It was pretty successful, to be honest, and a very nice lap time. And now coming across the start finish line, and we do go into the point fours, and provisionally P2, only 1/10 away from P1, but that does translate all the way into P11. Is the competitiveness of this field around Brazil. So even being slightly uncomfortable with the car is going to have catastrophic effects if you do not nail the lap. Now, first lap here, we decided to back off, and now we decided to go again at the end of the session to try and maximize my chances through turn 2 into turn 3, right on the limit of the white line, and now opening up the DRS. And this is going to be absolutely pivotal to get this absolutely nailed. Slightly down in sector 1. That was beautiful through there. Nice rotation, nice traction. Now heading into the main part of the second sector. You can see Declan Barrett up ahead does a bought his lap, and that caused a massive distraction for me. He didn't really do anything wrong. I just got distracted by it, outbroke myself, and lost about a tenth and a half in that one corner alone, just running massively wide. Now hitting the brake down in third gear, trying to make that lap time back. And apart from the corner where I got distracted, the lap has been pretty much nailed, and we'd be gaining time on every other corner into the final apex of the lap, onto the power, and that was sweet as well. But we are still down on the delta, and it's not going to be enough to improve here in Q2, so we are going to be out of qualifying and going to be starting the race all the way down in P14, as you can see now, with 3 lights, 4 lights on the hard compound tires, 5 lights, and lights out, and away we go here in Brazil. And you can see just getting off the line, Declan Barrett all over the back of us, and he goes clean around the outside in turn 1. We cover the inside line, and now we're on the outside for turn 2, carrying the momentum and right up behind Jarno Opmeer. And look how many cars, with 3, 4, almost 5 wide up ahead, and this is absolutely chaos. I decided to back out of this. I do not want any of this drama, and you can see this absolutely a mess. Still 3 wide up ahead. Schumacher, Clay, Daniel Baresi, Freddie Rasmussen still wheel banging down the straight, and I have no idea how none of them spun, to be honest. And now clean into the middle sector, just trying not to pick up damage. There's car contact up ahead between Declan Barrett and Freddie Rasmussen, and now we're just side by side with Duncan Hoffland trying to hang it around the outside now, and this is just an absolute mess, all just trying to fight for this track position, all trying to get into a good flow. And now we're going to be covering the inside, but of course we can't brake too late because we can't hit the back of Declan, and now Duncan is able to go around the outside because of that, and we were on quite high wings on this race, so we knew that we just didn't have the straight line speed to out-drag him down the pit straight, and it's better just to compromise and save a bit of battery so we're not completely vulnerable to the cars behind as well. Heading in, DRS already enabled at the start of lap 2, and instantly activating that DRS as we're coming under threat from Tabas behind us a little bit as well, ending sector 1 but able to cover him off on this instance. And now into the middle sector, where of course we're running higher wings, so it's a bit of an advantage for us in this situation. Start of lap 3, you can see he's attacking us down the inside, looking to the outside, late on the brakes, trying to go around the outside, but we're not going to let that happen. We carry the momentum around the outside of turn 2 and keep the position here. Strange to say, only P15, so yeah, the bad qualifying's hampered us, but we're going to try and fight back in the race, of course, and I was very confident in our race pace. Lap 7, he's all over the back of us again, and you can see we're just trying to save up our battery, and we've got a bit of a gap to Duncan and Schumacher, because yeah, I wanted to save a bit of battery, save a bit of tyres, because I knew that going long in this situation can be a bit more helpful to us, rather than trying to undercut everyone. Here you can see Duncan looking a little bit down the inside of Schumacher. They did actually make contact on the previous corner, but we wasn't able to capitalise on that here. On this track, it's very single file during the middle sector, although we do try to make an opportunity here, looking around the outside of us, but we get squeezed on the outside, and we just couldn't get the move done because, yeah, we couldn't carry the momentum being so tightly squeezed to the grass on the outside. We look down the inside again, but nothing going to do there on the high-speed right-hander. And now again, we look down the inside, but he covers it a little bit as well, so we can't make a silly dive bomb up the inside there. You can see how closely compact the cars are here, and we are going to be all over the back of Duncan. And now Duncan is actually going to look down the inside of Schumacher. He slides, he hits Schumacher, but again, just how tight the middle sector is. I can't find a gap, I can't find a way past, I can't get the momentum, I can't get the car into a space that can give me the position. So yeah, very frustrating so far, and how much a bad qualifying can hamper you in these situations. I genuinely feel it would have been easier to overtake if it was raining in this race. And yeah, that's one of the first times I could pretty much ever say this in the last like 4 or 5 years of doing F1 esports, that it would have been easier to have a wet race for overtaking. As you can see, cars dive bombing up the inside. Jarno Opmeer up the inside of Freddie Rasmussen. Daniel Baresi gets sent wide because of it. And again, the side by side, you can see I'm backing off and just leaving a massive space for the cars ahead, because I do not want to get involved and I do not want to break my wing like in Kota as well. So Lap 13 here, maximum battery, a lot of tyre saving has been done, so I really feel confident, especially as the stint goes on, to have good tyre deg and to be all over the back of these cars and to try and just hope to generate an opportunity to gain positions towards the end of this hard stint. And now you can see coming in to lap 14, there's a yellow flag, and that's because Alfie Butcher's been spun by Barry Burman up in the race lead, battling for the podium positions. So that's going to be a bit of carnage, and I really thought this would be the start of the carnage on this track, on this race as well. And I really thought all the carnage was about to kick off as a net result of this. Lap 17, and we're starting to get into the pit window. The two Ferraris have already boxed, in fact, and we're going to be just trying to see what we can do. And the strategy is there's contact up ahead, and very similar to the Kota situation, almost losing our front wing in that time and place. Lap 22, you can see still so many cars haven't boxed in this race, and it is going to be very decisive about what we do here. But we decide to peel into the pit lane and getting it slowed down, just hitting the brake as late as possible, and just about by 2 kilometers an hour getting the car slowed down for the pit lane speed limiter. Of course, going to a set on medium compound tyres. I think if we went another few laps, softs might have been available, but there just wouldn't have been enough time in the race to make up for it. As actually, Joni Tormada got held there. I never realised that Joni Tormada got held up behind Freddie Rasmussen during the race. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. But now we're coming out into a lot of clean air, and we're going to ask...
Give me an update on what I can do. How much battery I should burn to get ahead of the train.
You can hear me asking how much battery I should burn to get ahead of the train, and you can see we've got that call pretty much spot on as we're coming out ahead of the people and just behind Otis, just ahead of Otis Lawrence, I should say. Ideally, we would have came out literally just right behind Otis so that we could fall behind him and start saving our battery immediately. But you can see that started happening half a lap later when Otis blasted past us on the pit straight. Because yeah, we're on very, very high wings. Something I will change looking forward into F1 esports. Because yeah, it was good for race pace, good for raw pace, but just wasn't ideal for the whole situation. You can see we're just a sitting duck on the straight versus Yardo. So we've got catastrophic understeer, catastrophic top speed, and we're fighting as much as we can as Declan goes up the inside of us. We're going to try and hang around the outside, but quite a weird contact model moment here, and you can see we tapped our front wing against his front tyre and almost spat us off into the wall on the outside. Yeah, so that was very strange. Had to do a big correction there, as now lap 32, and again the carnage is ensuing up ahead. Contact up ahead between Freddie Rasmussen and Otis Lawrence, and you can see there's just... yeah, I don't really like this type of racing, to be honest. I like people being able to make moves as we just get absolutely hit up the inside by Duncan. Yeah, I like flowing racing. I like battling in a good way. But this is just dive bombing at hairpins and just seeing if you can get lucky if the other guy leaves the space or not. So yeah, hopefully this changes going forward. Hopefully they do something with the dirty air or something to make it so it's not just like this, as we're side by side with Daniel Perez. They're going to keep the position there, but yeah, you can see we're just all so close together. Like we're in P12, but we're in the train for the race lead. Crazy, right? Yeah, we're P12, but we're literally only 3 seconds off the race lead, or like 4 seconds at maximum. So yeah, now here, second to last lap of the race, and we had to use a bit of battery defending on the previous pit straight, but of course we could build that back up during the middle sector. As you can see, Freddie Rasmussen and Schnacker Clay battling up ahead, and you see Daniel Bresnan actually missing his braking point and going wide there as well. So now we can see we're going to be following Declan. We're good defensive, but Declan blocks us, and that allows Duncan Hoffland around the outside, and now around the final corner again. We're just not going to have the room to brake late because we're right up behind Declan Barrett, and that means we can't carry the momentum around the outside, and we lose the position to Duncan. So yeah, honestly, a lot in these situations, the battling is just by choosing your lane and hoping the car ahead doesn't block you. Of course, Declan didn't do anything wrong in that situation. But yeah, a lot of this racing at the moment on this track and with big DRS trains in slow sections is all about picking a lane and really hoping the car ahead doesn't block you. If they block you, then the car, what you're defending against, will go around the outside or on the inside quite easily. If they don't block you, it's an easy defense because the other cars can get blocked. So that's a lot what it is at the moment. So it's really hard to predict. So yeah, I really hope something can be improved for the future. That's just how I would like it anyway. But we are here on the final lap of the race, P13, and it's been quite a strange race, to be honest. Really not good on the result. Yeah, there's a lot of positives still inside of it for the time management, keeping it clean, not making stupid dive bombs, etc. But yeah, definitely the last few races in PSGL have been less than ideal. But with just how this game is at the moment, with such tight battling, we're literally one corner away from the race lead at the moment. That's just how it goes sometimes, how it ebbs and flows. Sometimes you have good races, sometimes you have unlucky races. But with that being said, next week is the season finale, and after penalties, we might be in the points in this race anyway, because we kept it clean. So next week is the season finale for PSGL, and on the WOR side of things, we are still 39 points in the championship lead with 3 races to go, so we're in a very strong position to wrap up that championship as well. So until the next video, thank you so much for watching, thank you for support, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao, ciao, bye bye.